This is Fantasy Football Today from CBSSports.com.
Starter sit for Fantasy Week 17. If you haven't won your league already, we'll help you right now on Fantasy Football Today, an exclusive presentation of Fantasy Football Today for CBS Local Sports. I'm Adam Azer with Jamie Eisenberg and Dave Richard, and we're going to tell you who to start and sit at each position. And the quarterbacks, Jamie, Jay Cutler against Green Bay. Big game, start him.
I think he comes out and plays well in the big game. We know that's been kind of his rap, that he tends to struggle when the lights are on and the performance is big, but I think he rises to the occasion because of the team that he's facing. Green Bay, just not a very good defense. I think you'll see Cutler come out, take advantage of his weapons. Forget about the game against Philadelphia. They got blasted early on. He's going to get Brandon Marshall going. He's going to get Alshon Jeffrey going. I think he throws multiple touchdowns in this game. I gave him 3 touchdowns, big performance. I think Cutler's a great start for Week 17.
And Dave, Andy Dalton, red hot right now, but you're saying sit him this week.
You know, good things come in threes, and I think Andy Dalton has come in threes. He's had 3 great games in a row twice already this season, and he's never had that 4th game. So I think he's going to struggle now in Week 17 against Baltimore. The only time he's had multiple touchdowns against the Ravens in his career, he had 3 interceptions in the same game. So you might say he's playing hot right now, but we've seen so many instances in the past where he's done well 3 straight weeks, and that 4th game comes along, and it's tough for him. And it's not a great matchup for him, and the Ravens have something to play for. That defense will step up. So I would take a step back from Andy Dalton.
And the running backs, if you're looking for a running back to start this week, Jamie says you can go with LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah, I never thought that we'd be in Week 17 talking about LeGarrette Blount, but that's kind of where we are. Shane Vereen may not play. He's a little bit banged up, but that doesn't really matter. Stephen Ridley, we know, has lost the job since he's been fumble-prone, and LeGarrette Blount stepped up, 2 touchdowns last week, double digits in fantasy points, 2 of his last 4. And he's facing a Buffalo defense that 4 of the last 5 games, they've allowed a running back to reach double digits in fantasy points. So I do think he scores in this matchup. I think this big win for the Patriots.
All right, Dave. Jamal Charles got me this far, but this week I have to sit him?
I think you have to sit him. If he's going to play at all against San Diego, because remember, the Chiefs have nothing to play for. They're locked into the 5 seed. He's not going to play much, if at all. And I've seen Andy Reid in the past. He's had Brian Westbrook, LaShawn McCoy, running backs who have been stars for their team. They've taken a rest. He doesn't use them in meaningless games. And it makes sense when you think about it. He wants him healthy and ready to go for the postseason. And you might see Alex Smith do a little bit of work. I don't know who the running back is going to be to replace Jamal Charles. Normally, we'd say Niall Davis. He's a rookie with Kansas City. He's fumbled lately. So maybe they bench him too and they go straight to the 3rd string. That's Cyrus Gray. The matchup isn't bad for Kansas City because San Diego hasn't been great against the run. But I don't know if I can trust any of those Chiefs running backs in the matchup.
Wide receivers, can we trust Marcus Colston this week, Dave?
I think so. I like the fact that he's at home, and there might be a chance that Darrelle Revis is on him all game long. But Darrelle Revis is also going to have to pay attention to Jimmy Graham, and the Bucs are going to have to come up with a plan for stopping both of those guys. I'll always take Marcus Colston indoors versus on grass, and at home, meaningful game for New Orleans. I think Drew Brees leans on him.
And Torrey Smith at Cincinnati. Sit him.
Yeah, Joe Flacco's got this knee problem, similar to what you said about Marcus Colston at home. Same thing with the Ravens. When they're at home, they tend to play better. Well, they're on the road this week, and I think you've seen Cincinnati's defense, with or without Leon Hall, they've been pretty good. They obviously have struggled at times against number 1 receivers, but I don't think you could trust Torrey Smith with the way that Flacco's playing, especially when they're on the road. We saw it last week in a matchup against New England where he struggled, Flacco struggled. They didn't look right, and I don't think they're going to be able to bounce back and come off the mat against Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati blows them out this week.
And one of the best tight ends in fantasy over the last 4 weeks has been Mercedes Lewis, and we're saying start Mercedes Lewis this week at Indianapolis, Dave.
It's a tough matchup for him because the Colts typically have done well against tight ends over the course of the season, but he's scored in 4 straight games, and Jacksonville's thin on receiving talent right now, and I think Lewis is just going to continue to have opportunities. He could finish the year real strong.
And Jamie, looking at Dennis Pitta here, it's funny, when we were looking at when he might come back, we noticed that in the postseason, the fantasy postseason, he didn't have very good matchups, and we're saying sit Dennis Pitta again.
Yeah, you mentioned it. This is one of those tough matchups, and I gave him a touchdown, but moderate yards. I just don't know how much you're going to get from Dennis Pitta. Another guy not playing the full allotment of snaps with the bad situation that Joe Flacco's dealing with his knee problem. I just think, unfortunately, for the Ravens, they're going to fall a little bit short of getting into the postseason because they had to have to play at a Bengals team that has been amazing at home, and Cincinnati has still a shot at the 2 seed.
Yeah.
You know, so I think they're going to come out and they're going to play great, and I don't think that the Ravens are going to have enough weapons in this matchup with Pitta struggling to have a chance to win this game.
Well, good luck, everyone. Hope we've been helpful on Fantasy Football Today. We've got 2 more shows to help you out. Friday, noon Eastern time, and Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, with Dave Richard, Jamie Eisenberg, Jason Horowitz, and Chad Johnson. And best of luck to you. This has been an exclusive presentation of Fantasy Football Today for CBS Local Sports. I'm Adam Azer. Good luck in Week 17.